You know what? I don't like that countdown. Totally forgot we had a customized countdown. Let's roll that one. Chantel, you want to toss to the countdown? Let's do it.
Let's go.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Absolutely true. It is the ultimate power in this universe. Welcome, everybody, to a wonderful surprise, kind of a surprise edition of Scarif Live here on the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast, part of the Red 5 Network. Did I mention that? We got Just Brad in the house. We got Chantel Skywalker in the house. And sing the song, baby. Row, row, row my boat. That's me. So how is everybody doing tonight?
Chipper.
Justice for Toggy. Yeah, Chipper.
Well,
that intro is way cooler than we are.
I told you I'm an easy I'm a lush when it comes to I've only had this much. Look at that. And look who's in the chat. We have earlier today we did our lunch on Scarif, our Twitter Spaces, which was really, really awesome. You guys were there. Brad, thank you very much for popping in. That was really great. We've got Force of Light Entertainment. Happy belated birthday to Michelle. That it was her birthday yesterday. And we also got another literal birth date. Salty has got a new baby, so congratulations to Salty.
Congrats.
He's got a baby Salty in the house. I think this is his third, so
It's a pinch of salt. It's a pinch of salt.
Pinch of salt.
Pinch of salt.
Absolutely. And let's see, who else joined us on that earlier show? We had Talking Star Wars. I kind of teased it. I think she was our #1 follower back in 2019, Shannon. Thank you, Shannon, for showing up and saying hello. Who else is in there? Joey Rosales. Thank you, Joey, one of our patrons. And I know who's going to show up later on. It's just a matter of time. Our boy Frankie. He's got to show up. But how's everybody doing? Chantel, you look fantastic as usual. How was your day today?
It was really, really good. And I really enjoyed our lunch talk today and the fact that I killed that wasp all by myself. Because
That's right.
I was ready to freak out.
Were you there for that, Brad?
No, I must have missed that part.
Yeah, we're talking, getting really philosophical. All of a sudden I hear, holy shit, there's a wasp in here.
So sorry.
So that was pretty funny. But all taken care of then?
Yeah. I've been
Good.
stung before twice, so I was like, it's not happening a third time.
Yeah, it's not a happy feeling, absolutely. And Brad, the butt to my scuttle.
Always.
Missed you, buddy. What's going on, man?
Don't miss don't mind the bare walls behind me. We're working on it. Slowly but surely we're working on it. But I'm doing good. It is nice to be back on. Hopefully get a couple shows in here in the next couple weeks before the Navy takes me away again for a little bit. But happy to be here. I, of course, did warn you about a confession I had to make tonight. But it's going to be a hard one. I'm going to have to fall on the sword on this one. And might not only get my Star Wars card revoked, but also my nerd card in general.
Wow.
The bigger overarching nerd card might be revoked as well on this one.
That is big. That is big news
on
right
pins
there.
And needles.
We are on pins and needles. That's all we've been talking about since you texted me earlier today. And, yeah. We will definitely, get down to business. But let's wait a couple minutes before get some people in the chat. Charles Westcott, Mr. Conversations Podcast, is in here too. Good to see you, Charles.
It still has nothing to do with Ryan Johnson, I assure you.
Thank God.
Thank you.
I jokingly told you, I said, look, I can forgive anything, but please, please, please have nothing to do with Ryan Johnson. But
In that case, I would just turn it in and walk away. I wouldn't even say anything. Just go, just walk off.
But yeah, definitely, obviously a little tongue in cheek there. We all know how we feel about certain aspects of Star Wars, but we're not going to dwell on that because all Star Wars is good.
I love all of them. I don't care.
All 6 of them. They're fantastic.
Oh, God. I had no,
you forgot Rogue One. So
the only one
unless
worth
you're
being
omitting
there.
episode 2 and throwing in Rogue One, then it's all 6 of them.
I'm down
Absolutely. That's fine. That's fine. Absolutely fine. But yeah, I'm just gonna take another swig here.
You want me to get to it, and because they're all mad that I kept them waiting.
No, it's fine. If the only thing is that if you spill the beans now and I get really upset, then I'm gonna have to end the stream relatively sooner rather than later, and I'd like to keep the levity up.
The levity will be high when I'm done.
Okay, all right.
You're not gonna let me live it down though. I'm telling you, it's bad.
Oh
It's
my
bad.
God.
I have some feelings. I have some thoughts on that. So
You do?
Yeah. Obviously, tonight's
I
topic.
don't want to give predictions. You might guess it and then spoil my thunder.
No, that's fine. I don't want to do that either. But my brain is kind of churning away. We've known each other for quite a long time now, since our first initial episode of the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast. I think I know how your mind starts to work a little bit.
Or it doesn't work in this case.
Or it doesn't work.
I'm gonna give a hint.
But hey, the floor is all yours. If you want to go ahead and spill the beans, you are more than welcome to.
This one hurts.
Hold on. I'm just gonna chug this.
Chantal, you got something to drink as well?
I have water, and now I regret that decision.
Yeah, you want. Okay, so, well, I got to get everybody caught up anyway on my situation. So this is a good way to get everybody caught up, so they know kind of where I am in life and what I got going on and why it's been so long since I've been able to be on the show regularly. But so everybody knows. I think everybody knows by now I'm in the Navy. The Navy itself, I got stationed up here in Virginia. I'm outside Norfolk right now. I was in South Carolina for 4 years, outside Charleston, but I got orders up here. So the Navy brought me here, but there's other things that brought me here as well. We're gonna get we'll get the little Debbie Downer thing out of the way real quickly. I've alluded to this on Twitter. Well, not really alluded. I've said this straight out on Twitter. I did recently get separated, and so after many years of marriage, so that was a shock, needless to say. Didn't see that coming, but it is what it is. And here we are. So even though I yap on here all the time, I think anybody who truly knows me knows how much of an introvert I am. And I can't just go out in public and start conversation unless we're at Star Wars Celebration or something like that, or Dragon Con. I can't just go out and start a conversation. So I figured, let me try one of these dating apps. So I signed up for one, and only a few days ago, and I got the expected amount of non-traffic that I was expecting. But I found someone on there that looked interesting. She is very attractive, and she had a great profile, not too far from here. So I figured I would hit her up and see if anything happened. Can you guys see where this is going yet? Probably not. But this is where it goes downhill real quick. So, but it does have a happy ending. So I'll say that.
As long as someone has a happy ending.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and you
Wait a
can't
minute.
say
Wait a
hat-
minute. Wait. I'm sorry.
well,
They came out.
and-
They came out
and-
wrong.
And I know how Chicago is. It's right outside boot camp. So we got briefed on that in boot camp, by the way, about the parlors. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, and that's not part of this story. So that's just really bad tangent. Okay, so there I was, and I sent her a message, just a very, and I do have it pulled up right here. I am going to have to probably provide a screenshot of this at some point as evidence. So I sent her a message. It's very, it's just broad. Hey, how you doing? Nice profile. And what does she reply with? What do you think she replied with when I said, "Hey, how's it going?"
Live long and prosper.
No.
Force be with you.
No.
No, but you're on the right track.
Oh,
She replied with,
My picture
Hello
will
there.
subvert. Oh,
Oh,
there you
hello
go.
there.
she replied with, "Hello
There,
there."
there.
okay.
And so
What was
now
your response?
now put yourself in my shoes. I'm a
Right.
complete idiot about these things, and I've been a complete idiot about these things for many, many years. Now, I did put in my profile about liking Star Wars because I feel like I have to put that out there. Like I can't do the whole bait and switch,
Right.
So I'm like, I don't know how well she read my profile and that sort of thing. So she said, "Hello there." So here's what I replied with. There's only one correct way to respond to that, but unless you're a geek at all, you'll probably never message me again. Smiley face, laughy face. So because I had this, so now just picture if you're in my shoes, like there's this huge, did she really pull the Kenobi hello there on me? Like there's no way. Obviously there is only one acceptable answer to this, and that's General Kenobi. But
She was
I
testing
couldn't
you.
do it because I didn't know she like you're done. Like if I just
right.
say General Kenobi and she's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" then
Then
I'm
you're
done. Then
Well,
I'm done.
you had a 50-50.
I had
think.
a 50-50, and guess what?
Yeah.
I blew it.
Yeah.
She says
Yeah, fuck
you were supposed to say General Kenobi with a teardrop emoji.
Unfollow me.
And I immediately responded with, "I've failed forever, and I have to turn in my Star Wars card." And actually, no, no, that was a little bit. You were supposed to respond with General Kenobi, and I said, "Damn it! You know how big of a risk that is?"
All right.
4 question marks, and it was the most it could have been the most perfect moment of my life. But it turned into one of the most. Now I have, most of these are not suitable for this show. I have messed up pretty good in the past with the opposite sex, with stories I can't tell. But it involves kielbasa sausage, so I'll just leave it at that.
We'll do
But
an
anyway,
NC-17 episode.
And he's a sailor, so
Yeah. So, but this takes the taco. This is bigger than any time I've ever messed up. Luckily, she forgave me for my. This is a cardinal sin in my book. Like this is your moment, geek. This is your moment, nerd. This is the moment you've been like step up to the plate and hit this one out of the park. All you have to say is General Kenobi, and it's out of here. And I blew it.
Wow.
But luckily, she forgave me. All is good. We've been talking all day. It's been great. I'm still never going to let myself live it down.
yeah.
Because I can't believe I fucking did that. It was traumatizing, and I wanted. And so don't worry, I got her permission to tell the story before I told the story. Because I felt like I immediately texted you, Ro, and I had to get this off my chest because I just couldn't believe I had done that. So
Well, lesson learned, and for all you kids in the chat, again, lesson learned: do not play it safe.
no,
Do you? If you are who you are, be true to yourself, and the hell with everybody else. If you want to feel the way just I don't know, man. That is very interesting. And you texted me something about how much geek stuff should you put in your new place, and I said, you might want to back off a little if you invite, some lady friends over, but again, that was my little safety area there too. But Frank says it all: do or do not. There is no try. And nothing can be further from the truth or closer to the truth than that quote there from our favorite little green guy, Master Yoda.
I don't think I even deserve to put the geek shit out now. I think I have to have a moratorium on that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
It's
think
just
you're in a penalty box now. I think
self-imposed penalty box.
Self-imposed.
Time out.
But that's quite a story. Thank you very much for sharing that, and kudos to you for making a connection. I know you are
Seriously.
very, shy when it comes to that sort of thing. So kudos, that's fantastic, Brad.
Been a while since I had to try, so I still got it. Still
That's
as
hilarious. That's
suave
hilarious.
and debonair as I ever was. I still got it.
Absolutely, too funny. I was
So now that I got that off my chest, now we can talk about some Yoda. We can talk about some Star Wars now.
Yeah,
Come on, Frank. Now you're just laying it on thick, Frank. I got it.
Is.
I got it, Frank. I
gets
know.
it. He gets it.
I got it. I don't need your help.
Charles says that it was me trolling you on that app, so just testing you.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time he did that. So we still have good conversations, though.
Funny. Well, I'm glad it was that. I was really trying to figure out what the hell you were trying to tell me, and
Me too.
We got real nervous there in our DM chat, trying to figure out what was going on. But I'm glad that you were able to make a connection. I hope it blossoms into something. I don't know whatever it is that you allow yourself to blossom into, and as long as you're happy, I think that's what counts, brother.
Mm-hmm.
It's based
Absolutely.
off failure, so I don't know, but I'm but we'll try.
Send
Charles
some of
is
your
right.
luck my way. Send some of your luck my way. I'm in the same boat, so I'm recently divorced, so.
Charles has a good point up there. We're happy she just didn't say boring conversation anyway. Look, we're gonna have trouble.
Hey, I would have accepted that. That
That would have been great.
if you can get a Han Solo, I mean, yeah.
I really would have given it to her. Props.
Yeah, no, not to dwell on these conversations that I had all day, but I gave her my official order in which to watch the movies.
Yeah.
Because this is the conversation I have with women, because you can see how much of a stud I
What
am.
a turn on.
And I mean, I know all the buttons to push. And I gave it to her, and she immediately understood that I watched the prequels after episode 5 as a flashback. So I was pretty impressed by that. I was like, because if you just look at the order, it doesn't make any sense. If you just look on paper. But
Absolutely. What do they call
yeah, my
that?
confession. I don't know.
I know obviously the release order is the release order, but then
The
you've
machete
got
order?
there you go.
Machete.
That's
Machete
the
order,
one.
yeah.
Yeah. I knew it had to do with
A weapon.
Spanish-
I was gonna say
Spanish
samurai
weapon.
swords or something. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Excellent. So we wanted to get together, and besides spilling the beans on your secret there, we wanted to talk a little Yoda, and very interesting topic. I think it's something that we might all be surprised at, and I want to reiterate what we always talk about. Everybody in the chat, feel free to jump in and ask a question or comment on something. We will definitely put it up, and we will discuss it. But before we start, we are dropping an episode this Thursday, and it's a really good one. I got together with Marisha and Andrew of ScienceFictionary.com, and we were talking about the truth or the fact versus fiction on the Indiana Jones movies. So that is the first episode. I'm sorry you guys couldn't make it. I said it was like coming home. It was our first. Brad, we did our very first crossover episode with them, and like I said, it felt like coming home. So it was a lot of fun. We got deep into the lore of Indiana Jones and kind of talked about the difference between the facts of the movie and the fiction. So look for that on Thursday. And I think Chantel and Frank have something special going on too come June, somewhere in there, for Jaws and its anniversary. So that is another episode coming up. Chantel, why don't we tell everybody about that?
So I made the unbelievable mistake of saying on Twitter that I don't understand what the big deal is with Jaws, because something that I was... who was I talking with? That I said, it's always kind of pissed me off that even when I went to go and rent movies at Blockbuster, that I would always see it in the horror section, and I never understood that. And then when I finally saw it for the first time, like entering high school, I was like, okay. And I was like, you've done better, Spielberg. But I mean, I loved the ride at Universal. I mean, I mean, it's a good movie. It doesn't scare me. I don't know. It doesn't wow me like it wows some people. And remember, I'm not looking at this through the eyes of an audience from 1975, so that definitely makes a huge difference. But
and
then
I
have a lot to talk about.
Right, and then I proceeded to school her on the fact that Jaws set the standard for blockbusters in the summer of '78. Everybody was scared to go to the beaches, et cetera, et cetera. It was a big deal. Obviously Steven Spielberg directed. Frank, Chantel, I will probably be the MC for that episode, but looking forward to that sometime in June. You guys are getting that one prepared, but it's fantastic. Frank, obviously one of our patrons, he's suggested a couple of show topics, and we really ran the gamut on some of the episodes that we did, namely the curses in movies, so that was a lot of fun, and then we got into scary stuff. Looking forward to that episode and this Thursday's drop. I'm halfway done with the editing on that one. That's a lot of fun. So join us. It is your destiny. What else we got, Brad?
Well, in the chat, Amanda asked for that watch order that I was talking about. And I'm not good at the typing thing Ro can type it or whatever while I'm saying it. But it's pretty easy. The watch order that I think is the most fun, and it's good for either new viewers to the saga or to people that have been around for a while. And that's to start with Solo. This is if you want to watch all the movies. If you don't like some of the movies, feel free to leave them out. But if you want to watch all of the movies, Solo, Rogue One, Episode 4, 5, and then the prequels. And then 6, 7, 8, 9. So Solo, Rogue One, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the reason I like that order is because it starts at a time where there are no Jedi anywhere around. You're at the height of the Empire. Everything is bad. So when Obi-Wan Kenobi talks in Episode 4 about, before the dark times, before the Empire, that makes a lot more sense. And then this leaves it at the cliffhanger in Episode 5 when Vader says, "I am your father." And then you go back and then just whoever you're watching it with, just make sure that you let them know that you're watching the next ones as a flashback, as a backstory, and let them know that the little kid is Anakin, not Luke Skywalker, because some people think that was little Luke instead of little Anakin. But so then watch the prequels as a flashback. And then, of course, Episode 6 just ties everything together. You already know he is in fact his father, and then that just makes those moments more powerful between Luke and Anakin at the end of Episode 6, and of course the sequels or the sequels they happen 30 years after. So I think that's fun for both new and seasoned viewers of the movies.
Excellent.
It's an interesting.
And that is Brad's machete order of the Star Wars saga. What would you call that? Is that still the Skywalker saga?
Yeah.
We have a question from Shannon, and that's a good question. Let's put that up here. Let's touch on that. Chances that Yoda and Padme appear in Kenobi. Before we answer that, Ewan McGregor was recently on Jimmy Kimmel and some of the other shows. Disney's starting to get that hype train going. But what are you guys looking forward to Kenobi and Andor and some of the other new stuff? Chantel's like, yeah.
I am absolutely looking forward to Kenobi. I've always loved Obi-Wan Kenobi from the very beginning. And then I think Ewan McGregor did such a ridiculously fantastic job with that character.
Yeah.
He really embodied Alec Guinness's aura and all that. So this is the one show I'm really looking forward to.
And I think he did. He really embodied old Obi-Wan, especially in Attack of the Clones. That beginning sequence with him and Anakin in the elevator. There's just certain little laughs that he does that were very Alec Guinness.
Yeah, he got the ticks down.
Yeah, it's really, really great. So
and he becomes more Alec Guinness as the movies go on. By the time we get done with Revenge of the Sith, he is almost there. And one thing I just love about the connection is where he gets burned in the shoulder on Revenge of the Sith, and you can still see that little fabric, burn scar is still there in Episode 4, and for them to have that much attention to detail was nuts. I'm still concerned. I'm still, about I can't wait to see him and Hayden on screen together, because they had such good. They had better chemistry than he and Padme had, and Natalie Portman had. I think their chemistry was amazing on there, but I'm still worried that if Obi-Wan fights Vader, that's going to lessen the impact or the what happens in Episode 4 with that dialogue between them. But besides that, I couldn't be, and especially if Liam Neeson is on there at all, I'm just I'm done. Because Yoda gave him the mission to go there and get trained by Qui-Gon.
Right.
So if there is and of course I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. If there is a Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, Yoda conversation, I'm done.
I'm done.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was my favorite line of Revenge of the Sith when they said that. I was like, I was like, Qui-Gon. I was like, please.
And how excited he got. Yeah, how excited he got when he said Qui-Gon. So I hope that happens.
And that's another thing I was going to say is I'm looking forward to this because Ewan McGregor is a fan, and it shows. You can tell he really loves it. So that's also one I want to see. He's just as excited about doing Kenobi than he is, I think, as us being the audience.
Well, literally, Ewan McGregor is Star Wars family. I mean, his uncle was in the original Star Wars, Dennis Lawson. Right. So it's Wedge. So that's fantastic. Phoenix Nightflame has a really good question, and I know a lot of people were giving this notion some flack regarding the rematch that Kathleen Kennedy was referring to when they announced that McGregor was coming back as Obi-Wan. And that he was going to be pitted against Darth Vader actor, drawing a blank real fast.
Hayden Christensen?
Yeah, Hayden Christensen. So, everybody's like, oh, that's going to make that line in A New Hope obsolete. And I was arguing with somebody. It really doesn't. It just depends on where in the hierarchy they're talking about. I mean, it didn't have to be their first and last battle, period. So it would really be an interesting thing.
Disagree with you. Disagree with you on that one, Ro. When I left you, I was but a learner. Vader would not call himself a learner 10 years later. The dude literally rules the entire
well,
galaxy
We'll see.
10 years later.
We'll see.
So I don't know.
You can't talk. You don't have a Star Wars card anymore, so sit back.
You invoked it
The
yourself,
adults
so.
are talking.
hit the mute button on me.
But whatever the rematch, I think I'm looking forward to it because I really enjoyed their interaction. I think those two characters are larger than life, especially in Star Wars, and especially in something that's modern that takes those situations that we were treated to back in 1999, 2000. With the prequels, and then just kind of revisiting them and kind of going back to see what else the storytellers are going to tell us. So I'm super excited of that. Among other things, obviously the Andor series is going to be really exciting because it deals with a time period in the Star Wars lexicon that I'm really interested in. I loved seeing that aspect of Solo. Between the relationship between the Empire and the Underground and the Rebels and how they started, and obviously Rogue One. I always say it's a love letter to Star Wars fans. So that timeline definitely interests me, probably more so than any other timeline that exists in Star Wars. It's cool to see what happens 30 years after Return of the Jedi. We're in the Mandalorian timeline, but getting a little bit of that timeline, even in the Bad Batch, as the Empire starts to, roll out with the formation of the hierarchy and all that stuff. I find that very interesting.
It's definitely I know it's my favorite period, and I'm with you. We talked about this in our chat a little bit. Seeing that in the Bad Batch is just incredible, and seeing Tarkin there, and them talking about Project War Mantle and making those connections to Rogue One, give me all the fan service. I'm here for it, Ro.
Absolutely,
I can't get enough.
Yeah, absolutely. So you suggested this topic. Was Yoda wrong? And I made a graphic, and I hope I interpreted your cryptic texts correctly. What you talking about, Willis?
Well, before I get to why he was wrong, obviously Yoda, probably one of the most beloved Jedi masters out there, universally accepted, as wise, and maybe the wisest Jedi out there. We know from his story he's been everywhere, done everything. He's in the new High Republic stories. He's out there training little younglings, and of course he's all kinds of active in the Clone Wars series. He even visits Moraban, which is Korriban for the old school types. Gets to talk to Darth Bane's ghost, and this guy's done everything, seen everything. So he saw the fall of the Republic and the rise of the Empire. He's got lots of experience, but what gets me is the words that he uses, or what he teaches Luke now, has been almost completely debunked. And I guess the superficial answer would be because of the writing / directing of what's come out since. But I want to talk about maybe some in-canon possibilities of why, I think he's wrong, or why he was wrong. So I want to talk about a couple major.
Are you talking about he was wrong about what specifically?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk about two things specifically, two major things specifically, where he says knowledge and defense, that the Force should only be used for knowledge and defense, never for attack. And the second, and the probably more major point, is once you start down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny. That he said. And so why did he say those things? So what do you guys think about what he said about the Force being used only for knowledge and defense, never for attack? Do you think the Jedi actually, from what you've seen in the prequels and the Clone Wars cartoon and everything else, do you think that statement holds true, that they never use it for attack?
I was gonna say all they do
No.
is fight.
I mean, it's interesting too, because you think of modern warfare and the real world. We make these weapons in order for our enemy not to use the weapons they make, and then they make bigger ones, and then we make bigger ones, and then the cycle never ends. So is this something the Jedi were talking about? Probably not, but I don't know. It's a very interesting, I guess, concept retroactively, because like you said, now we're getting a lot more Star Wars content that was produced after the fact. George Lucas never realized he would be coming back to this galaxy, but for one thing, the Force, I will say that the Force is used for knowledge, probably a lot more in this new series of books. The Kevin Scott and all the new books, the Project Luminous stuff, the High Republic stuff. I do see the Force being used for knowledge and almost in a peaceful way, more so than what the Republic used the Jedi for, especially when they turned themselves into, or they were assigned as generals. I think inherently, there were some Jedis obviously that had an issue with the Jedi becoming generals and fighting in this war. So I think that's where that disconnect comes from. I think somewhere in there, they obviously lost their way from their initial function. I don't know if we've ever seen true Jedi be like true Jedi when it comes to that, what Yoda said. So it'll be interesting to see if they, dive into the past a little bit more, and then maybe without the influences of any dark users like what we have in the original trilogy, where Palpatine was kind of, running things behind the scenes and confusing the Jedi and clouding the future. Difficult to tell the future is. So I don't know. It's a really interesting concept for me. I think a lot of people don't talk about it as much as they should.
So I'm with you about and we've talked about this in the show in the past, as far as the Clone Wars and the Jedi Order as a whole losing its soul when they went from being guardians to generals. But even before that started, Mace Windu lopping off Jango Fett's head. Yeah. Would you call that maneuver, what he did, knowledge and defense?
Yeah, that's a hard one. I mean, people had the same argument when Kal-El, Superman, killed Zod. Yeah. And people were up in arms, and Superman doesn't kill. And but in that instance, I can really see the pain and the struggling that Superman was going through, because this guy was pretty powerful. There was no other way to stop him, and the only way to stop him was to snap his neck, which he did. But you could, like I said, again, I think that scene was done masterfully. I think people don't see that. But as far as knowledge and defense, maybe Mace Windu saw something, had a future vision or something, and the only way to get rid of this threat was to get rid of the threat, literally. And but Anakin did the same thing with Count Dooku. So I don't know. But at that point, there is I guess an outside influence, affecting you. It was, in this case, he was in proximity to Palpatine. The pull was a little stronger, I would assume. But it's interesting that that Obi-Wan didn't feel it, which, again, it just tells me how powerful and how manipulative Palpatine was, to be able to, to pull the strings as hard as he did, with little to no resistance up until the end. No pun intended.
I kind of see it as in the realm of like the Clone Wars, like you're saying, and the prequels, I guess because everything is getting so amped up at that point, I guess my question to you guys is, well, then what would you expect the Jedi to do? Sit back and watch at that point? And when you say attack, I think of attack as they're the ones doing the provoking. I don't ever see it that the Jedi are the one like provoking it. I think it's a response to everything. So if you got all this going on, what do you really, I guess, expect them to do to help other than fight and do what they actually did? I mean, this was a full on war. So I don't know. I mean, I don't actually see a problem with it. Yeah, I remember when, they were doing some decapitations. I was not really what I want my Jedi to do, but at the same point, it's war. War is hell. Even if it is in space, what do you expect them to do? Literally sit back and do nothing at all?
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest. That was one of the biggest problems I had with Return with the Last Jedi. Luke, obviously, you sit back and you do nothing, and is that really the Jedi way to just disconnect yourself and then just let evil rampage all over the galaxy?
Have the saying, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. So, I mean, wasn't there even an episode that I saw recently within the first 2 seasons of the Clone Wars where there was this little village and the eldest didn't want to do anything at all, and they were like, well, you can't just sit back and do nothing. No, we're going to stay sometimes you can't stay neutral. So when do you jump in?
Right.
Well, I'll play devil's advocate. What about the cute little phrase that the Jedi gave it? Aggressive negotiations. That doesn't sound too peaceful, and that was before the Clone Wars broke out.
Right.
They already had aggressive negotiations. So I
go ahead, Brad.
Well, I was gonna say I like, and you pulled it up a minute ago. What I'm willing to play devil's advocate on this one, give him the benefit of the doubt on this one. What Phoenix Nightflame was saying up a little bit in the chat. I think what Yoda said in this case was him being retrospective about everything that had transpired. Of course, he has 900 years of life to build off of, but I think he was especially building off the last 30 to 50 years of his life. And I think he was looking at that retrospectively. And of course, he had done a lot of introspection while on Dagobah. That's all he had. He had all the time in the world to do that. So I'm going to say on that one, I think he was saying that as a lesson learned, that it should only be used for defense. So I'm not sure how much he believed that in the Clone Wars era, but I think he came to learn that in his seclusion on Dagobah.
And I put up Phoenix Nightflame's other quote a couple of posts down. All it takes for evil to thrive is for good men and women to do nothing. And I, again, that was the biggest problem I had with The Last Jedi Luke. Is it right just to sit back and do nothing while your family, while the galaxy suffers? It was the biggest, for me, it was the biggest betrayal of a character, and that's for that reason alone is why I really don't like, The Last Jedi. And people are like, oh, but he came around, at the end of the movie, he's so inspirational, yay! But yeah, he shouldn't have given up in the first place. But anyways, thank you, Phoenix Nightflame. Those are really great points, and this quote right here that I have on screen is something that I always cling to when I think about that stuff. So, well said, perfectly said. Thank you. I agree with that statement 100%. I think you're dead on with that. That's always been true, but don't forget what they were fighting for was the Republic, which at this point had been corrupted to the core. But they didn't know.
They didn't know.
No, but even Padme. Remember the conversation between Padme and Anakin, and she's a senator. She was a senator at this time, and this was before she even made her. This is how liberty dies. Mm-hmm. Even before that, she had the conversation with Anakin about, "Are you sure we're on the right side?" Mm-hmm. I think we have become that which we were fighting. That's a little foreshadowing, I think, to the end of the movie, where Obi-Wan says that to Anakin. So even so, they did align themselves with the Republic. But yeah, we talked about this in the show before, and large scale wars and that sort of thing. But yeah, they definitely did not know, not to that extent. No one could have known at that time.
There are, certain characters in Star Wars, especially during that era, that, might have had some sort of inkling. I mean, there are, Luke Skywalker here has got a point. Every generation has its challenges. I'll put this up. But it's, people come to different relationships with different baggage. In every sense of the word, you've got experiences behind you that you bring to the table. And at some point, those experiences kind of are helping, guide you. Some people might not have the same experiences as you, especially when it comes to this particular instance in mind. Did Padme feel something might be off? Yeah, she might have. Others might not have, but it's always interesting to see, who acts on what based on their past experiences. And, once you get that train rolling, you can't stop it. And vice versa. Sometimes you can't get that train going. You can't warn the right people, and then it just runs away from you. The galaxy's a big world. There are, if it was all run by one person, then who knows what kind of world we'd live in, both fictional and non-fictional. So it's very interesting philosophically. Was Yoda right? I don't know. Somebody might say, he was totally wrong, but it just depends on a certain point of view.
Yep. So I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt on this one, but I would like y'all to try to convince me on this point that he was not wrong when he said, once you start down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny. Obviously, we saw Anakin being redeemed. Even Luke was tempted by the dark side. He talks, he experiences it in the movies. It goes into more detail in other media as well. He was tempted by the dark side. And obviously with Kylo Ren and even Rey felt the pull towards the dark side, being a Palpatine. So can you guys convince me that he was not wrong on that statement?
Let's see. Once you go to the dark side forever, will it dominate your destiny? Again, I think it depends on at this point, who has Yoda seen that has completely gone to the dark side? Right. He was the master trainer to many Jedi, and specifically within this time frame, he was the Count Dooku was his Padawan. Dooku went to the other side, and that's arguable. That you can argue that he didn't go to the dark side. He just had a different point of view, very much like Qui-Gon. And obviously, we've had this discussion before. He definitely had different views than the rest of the Jedi Council. There's obviously the group known as the what was it? The Jedi 12?
The 20?
The Lost 20.
The Lost 20?
Yeah. So, yeah, who knows? I mean, again, it just depends on what you bring to the table. Maybe Yoda was fed up and he just didn't want to deal with it anymore. I would actually also find it hard to believe that Yoda did not believe in redemption. I don't know what you guys think. And it definitely seems like maybe he didn't at this point. Because, let's see, he says it in Empire Strikes Back. The Republic has fallen. The Sith, Palpatine and Vader rule. He's in hiding, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, Yoda has seen some shit in his lifetime, and this, I think, is the culmination of everything bad, worst case scenario. And maybe at this point, he doesn't believe in redemption. He doesn't believe that somebody can come in and, save the galaxy, as it were. He was waiting for a savior. Here comes Luke Skywalker, the chosen one, or was it Anakin? Anakin supposedly was supposed to be the chosen one, but he also fell to the dark side and became, Darth Vader. So at this point, Yoda, I think, is downtrodden and doesn't believe in redemption. So forever will it dominate your destiny? At this point in Yoda's life, I think he has seen that.
I can understand it. He feels defeated. I mean, wouldn't you, after everything that happened? So I definitely can understand the psychology behind that. And not only that, but at what point did he say that quote? Because he died before Anakin did finally redeem himself. So he was proven wrong, but if he's seen all this failure up to this point, yeah, I can understand completely why he would feel that way. Completely. He lost his faith a little. He lost it. That was it for him.
Yeah. And
I actually really like that. Yeah, because that's I guess we have the benefit of knowing the entire timeline of what
Right.
happens before and after. But I really like what you guys were saying as far as, and even though it seems obvious, the way you guys are saying it, I hadn't looked at it that way. In that he's saying that based off his own personal experience because.
Right.
He had not personally seen anybody come. I mean, he did lose his Padawan to the dark side, and he didn't come back. He was never redeemed, and obviously Darth Vader, like you said, and up until that point, he certainly wasn't redeemed at that point, and it didn't look like Darth Vader could have been redeemed. So. I definitely like what you're saying as far as it's simply based off his own personal experience.
I mean, I had May the 4th off. I specifically took that day off from work so I could watch all the movies, and I did it more in chronological order. So I did episode 1, 2, 3, then Rogue One, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I watched all the way through, and I skipped Solo. And when you really watch it like that, one after another, and you get to Revenge of the Sith, and Yoda says, I have to go into hiding, failed have I. Let me tell you, after having I was crying because I was like, yeah, I mean, this feels like an epic failure. So I was totally like, I feel you, Yoda. It's heartbreaking when you hear him say that. He's beating himself up.
Yeah.
And it's awful.
And his voice cracks.
It's
at
awful.
that and that it's that voice crack that just gets in the memory. How many times I've seen that movie? It's that little voice crack.
Sad.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
It's really sad.
And it's that's one of the reasons I love watching the Lost Missions. That last episode of or the last few episodes of the Clone Wars when it came on Netflix. You had the episode where Yoda, is still learning even after hundreds of years of becoming a master. He's still learning about the Force. He's still learning about what how things can affect you. He goes and searches for the inspiration of the wills, and he finds Qui-Gon. He battles his own demons in that episode, and I think that's probably, I would venture to say, that's probably the first time that Yoda has ever done anything like that. But it definitely demonstrates how strong of a character he is, how strong of a Jedi Master he is, because coming face to face with a apparition of Bane, the size difference between the two characters, and he just doesn't bat an eyebrow. I mean, that would scare the bejesus out of me, let alone, being a little green guy facing a formidable enemy like that. You don't know what's real, what's not. So, again, just powerful messages and powerful characters that we cling to in this little franchise. Really cool.
And perhaps I'm just playing semantics on this one, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on this one as well, because even though he says forever will it dominate your destiny, that doesn't mean a certain thing, right? He says once you start down the dark path, it doesn't mean that just because it dominates your destiny that you're destined to end with the dark side or using the dark side. It's just going to control your path up until that point, and we did see that with Vader, and we even saw that with Ben / Kylo Ren. It did dominate their destiny, but it didn't. That doesn't necessarily mean that. I don't think that is mutually exclusive to redemption either.
Yeah.
I can see that.
And we all live with choices, and we all live with the consequences of those choices. And I think Star Wars is kind of a funny way of putting a mirror on ourselves when it comes to those things. So I put up Backyard TARDIS, our friend Nick, talking about having a guilty conscience and consequences. So that definitely applies in this case. So pretty cool.
Yep.
What else?
Well, thank you. Yeah, I wanted to thank you for this conversation. Yeah, it was just something it's been bugging me. He made all these. We consider him the ultimate. The pinnacle of wisdom within, but there's just I found so many inconsistencies. But I think we found a lot of good reasoning behind what he said.
That was a great
Absolutely.
topic.
Yeah,
really great topic.
Good topic. And before we take off, we have one special Patreon sponsored. Are we going to do that for the Jaws episode, the Sentry Mode question?
Yeah, let's save it for that.
Okay.
Let's save it.
Never mind, everybody.
Strike that.
I thought
we got nothing else.
We got nothing else. But so guys in the chat, thank you very much for joining us tonight. That was really a great discussion, and congratulations, sir, to you for finding a true Jedi princess, or however you want to describe her. So yeah, definitely. Does she know you're on a podcast?
Yeah, I invited her to watch so she could see me fall on the sword.
Nice, excellent, awesome.
Ye of little faith.
Fantastic.
Hopefully, she also believes in redemption, so that would really help in this case.
That is too funny.
Put
So
her to the test.
Very good. Thank you, everyone in the chat, for joining us. We had a great discussion about Yoda, and maybe he was wrong, maybe he wasn't. It all depends on the baggage. It all depends on the life experiences you bring to the table. That's basically a recap. But join us on the next Scarif Live, which I don't know when, but we are dropping an episode this Thursday. Our friends over at Sci-Fictionary, I spoke with them, did a very special episode on the facts versus fiction of the Indiana Jones, and that's going to be a series. I think we're going to kind of do a couple of multiple episodes on that. We covered Raiders of the Lost Ark. We talked about Nazis and vampires and Slavic vampires, to say the least. I learned more doing research on that. I learned more about Nazis than I ever wanted to. And the Ark of the Covenant. So really cool stuff. I hope you guys put that on your list. It comes out Thursday. And we have some more content coming. We've got a very special Jaws episode between another Patreon of ours, Frank and Shanti. We're going to talk a little Jaws, and we got some other stuff brewing. Don't forget to drop us a voicemail if you guys want to just let us know how we're doing, or suggest show topics, or just say hello. You should give the Scarif Scuttlebutt hotline a call. Drop us a voicemail at 773-234-8659. 773-234-8659. Give us a phone call. Tell us hello. Tell us a Star Wars joke. I got a regular joke for you guys. Ready? What do you call a guy with a rubber toe?
I don't know. What?
Roberto.
But wow.
But there you go.
What a way to end that.
Absolutely. I'm Ro. That's Brad. Shanti's in the house. Take it away, Chantel.
And that's the scuttlebutt.
Thank you, guys. Always sunny on.